Hello friends, welcome to my channel, a channel for learning simple coding. If you find this video to be helpful, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Last video or last lecture, we have learned about route handler and all these 7 questions we have covered individually in route handler class or video. Now in this class number 18 or video number 18, we are going to discuss what is middleware and what is the use of middleware.js and ts file, how to redirect route to specific page using middleware, and what is the use of matcher in middleware. That we are going to cover. All these are interview question for middleware and most important concept for nextjs and node.js also. You see, what is middleware? Middleware allow you to run code before a request is completed. Then based on the incoming request, you can modify the response by rewriting, redirecting, modifying the request and response headers or responding directly. And in a simple way, if I try to explain you, when you make a request by using web page, for example, I have this web page. From this login web page, for example, login page, I click to send and it go to server. Everybody knows that we have the JavaScript that run on client side and we have a server side languages that read the request and give the response. So here, suppose I have to make some layer between the server and a client, security layer maybe, or maybe some redirecting layer. Means if client making a direct request to server and we check that client is valid or not, and if the client is valid, then we allow directly to the server, otherwise we interrupt it and go send to the specific URL. For example, here suppose I go to home here, so this home directly I am coming, no problem. But if I am going to service or some other URL, I want that directly I should not go to service, I should log in first. Remember that? And this login page is not available here. I can set route login also, but I am just giving an overview, just an example, that if somebody trying to access your URL, suppose this URL is open, somebody has login, but you go and you just copy this URL, go somewhere else and you just paste that URL and you will have the same link because there is no security available. Your URL is open here. But we want that if somebody is going to the service, remember that somebody is going to the service or some rest of the URL, any URL, whatever specific URL, whatever the condition you want, but it should log in first. That means before going request to the server, there is a middleware that checking each and every URL. If URL is unwanted, unauthorized, then go to for login purpose. That I want to show here. So in the last video, I have create a login page. For that, I have form data here, URL, and I have this form. Suppose this is a login screen and I want each and every person should go to this login screen first before going to service, about, contact or any at particular routes. What I do, remember that. So now if you see directly, I can go to any routes here. I go service, I go about, there is no security available on any URL, but I am using a middleware to provide this security. For that, remember that in app directory you have, so before the app directory means in the application directory, my YouTube app, under this directory we have to create a file. Remember, we don't need to create a file under app folder. Remember this, under app directory we don't need to create any file because this is a middleware concept. So the middleware file should be in a root directory of app directory. So root directory of app is my YouTube app. And if you are using src directory also for creating your project, then your middleware.js file should be under src, and src would be the root directory of app. So remember that you have to create middleware file under the root directory of app directory. That is the most important part. So I select here my YouTube app and here I say middleware.js, middleware.js and middleware.ts. Remember that. Go to this here and you have to create middleware .ts or JS file. I'm using JavaScript, so JS. If you're using TypeScript, then TS. You have to do this. Then you have to make such kind of coding for that. So file is created, middleware.js. Now I say here const, remember, and I say name is middleware, and I go here, create arrow function, and I make it async also, I think so, and I say here export middleware like this. Then under this I say return, I say next response dot redirect. Here I say new URL. Under the URL I have to specify the URL on which I want to redirect. I want to redirect to form data. Remember, I want it go to form data. Every request should go to form data. Which request? Dot URL, and request I have to read here. I say request here. Save this. Remember, so we have request.url, we have form data. So now if I try to access any URL, I go there, here, and I say service. I click on service. You see, it's saying that too many requests is coming because each and every data is going to form data. So we have to validate first, that we have to check here the conditionally, that if we say request dot next URL dot path name not equal to form data. Remember, if it is not form data, then we redirect, otherwise we don't want to redirect. Remember this, it's a compulsory because each and every request we are redirecting to this, and form data URL is also redirecting to form data URL. That's why it's saying too many rendering information. So we are conditionally checking here that if the URL is not form data, then we redirect, otherwise not. So you will see that now if I go to any link, I open this website first of all, you see that home page is also redirecting to form data. Remember that it should be / form data, I think. Yeah, you see that. So directly we are going to login page, you see, and here I'm using this, that's why it is not using bootstrap on any other framework, it's a different concept. But you see that if I access any page now, anything, services, each and every page will redirect to login page because we have put here the middleware concept. Now the problem is that we are not able to open the home page also, so we have to think differently and we have to manage it differently. So for that, because we can't put everything in a condition, we can put or also, you can allow home, I can put here or condition also, that you provide root and form data, don't redirect to other page. Like I can say or, and I copy the same and I paste here, and I say if there is a root, then also allow to open, and try to see this. If I open a root now, press this, and you will see that it's sending directly to this. So condition is not matching, too many rendering. So if it is not equal to root, then we redirect, or if it is, so in every URL we will have a route. So problem is that this condition is not working. That means we have some drawback here. So I make comment it. Remember, we have a different solution for that. That will allow to a specific URL. For that we have a matcher. So I say export const config like this equal to object, and here I say matcher, and matcher should be under this. I say I want to redirect to the service, so I say service, remember, and I say here path dot star, that we have to provide this kind of setting, service URL, and then we have to say path, and then we have to say star. So it will redirect only when it match to service. Now you try to access, this page, you see, try to give the home, you see home is opening, no problem. I create to modal will open, no problem at all. You see coming, proot it coming, everything is coming, is not redirecting to any particular web page right now, and you see everything is coming. I click on about also, about is coming, but if I click to service, and you will see I just redirect to form data. Why? Because in a matcher condition, you see I have given here that if somebody want to access this service URL, then you have to redirect to this. That is the actual use of middleware. We can't use this under the condition because this condition doesn't work. By coding is not a wrong, because this concept is not wrong, but fundamentally it does not work on this. We have a special configuration object here called config, and here we provide a matcher. So URL you provide here only those URL which match here, then it will redirect to this, otherwise not. Now suppose you want to give 2, so again create an array of this like this and provide the information. So again I copy this and paste it again, and I say I want to stop it on about us also. So I say about us. If you are using the URL about us also, then it will redirect to form. So you see that contact us is working, no problem. You see p routes is also working, no problem. But if I click to service, go to this, I go to home, no problem. But if I click on about us, again we go to login, you see form data. So this is the role of middleware. It's a security guard for your secret URLs and for your website. If sometime you want a security, you don't want to allow your client to directly access to the server without a permission, so you can use middleware. And you want to make some authorization, authentication things, you want to check something, some session application, session ID, or there are so many things are there in application development. So you understand now with this example that middleware play a big role for stopping direct access to the server, and we have a security guard. Like a security guard, we have a middleware like a security guard to protect your server from the unauthorized access by the client. So you can check client whether it is authorized or not, and you can use session ID also, you can use some other cookies also. So many things you can check by using middleware. And remember that only the basic thing to understand that you make request goes to server, but before sending request to the server, you want to validate, you want to check that request, then you can use middleware concept of next.js. So remember that you have to create middleware.js file. So the use of middleware.js and middleware.ts file is to create a middleware and next.js application. What is middleware? I have explained you that it's a file middleware.js and middleware.ts that stop direct access to the particular URL in your website, and it's just like a security guard, it protecting your website. How to redirect route to specific page? I have explained that by using this next response.redirect, you can redirect to any particular URL. And how to use matcher in a middleware, I have explained that you have a separate object export const config. Under this we have a matcher object, and we have to specify the information in an array or non-array. I have explained you. So like this way you can use middleware also. I think you understand now how to use middleware. If you like this video, if you really learn something from this video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.